Fellas, let me put this little bug in your ear right quick, okay? The height of masculinity is to make sure everything is up to par around you. In other words, invest in self. That includes your skin care. Most guys overlook something as simple as your skin, but who want to be walking around with skin like 40 grit sandpaper, huh? You understand, right? Well, I have some great news. TH Handler has created some products that will allow you to get your desired result. Did you hear me? Let me say that 2 times for the slow ones in the back. TH Handler has created some products that will allow you to obtain your desired result. And it's uncomplicated skincare for men. Let me show you how uncomplicated it is. In the morning, guys, wet your face with warm water. Gently rub wash onto your face, rinse face. Pat dry with towel. Last but not least, gently massage AM moisturizer evenly on your face. Now look how simple that was. So now you are ready to go out and conquer the world and come back home. And there is an evening regimen. Listen, wet your face with warm water, gently rub wash onto your face, rinse face, pat dry with towel. And you see how simple that was, guys? Because you want to be handsome, right? Because I know you don't think that you're ugly, right? You want to take preventative measures to keep your skin up to par because you don't want to end up on an episode of Pimple Poppers. TH Handler, uncomplicated skincare for men. Fellas, do yourself a favor and click the link down below in the description box and get you some products to enhance yourself because who don't want to be a fly guy? Welcome back, family. You know what I need y'all guys to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, guys. The channel is growing. Despise not small beginnings. You understand? Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Comment, family. I'm trying to get into the YouTube algorithm. YouTube tripping sometime, but I'm going to keep peddling it anyway. Support my channel by going to the Cash App, guys, and donating there. It's $Drummer1980. I do appreciate you in advance. You also can support my channel by clicking on the super thanks located under the video, guys. Donating there as well. And like how I tell each and every one of y'all, I do appreciate you 10 folds over, hands down. I'm proud that you're rocking with me. Well, you know my motto. I don't make believe. I make believers, family. I'm your gracious host, Drummer 1980, hailing out of the Carolinas, Columbia, South Carolina, if you're looking for me. I hope you had a good day today. And if you didn't have a good day, ask yourself this one vital question. Why? And remember this, happiness is an inside job. And it will always be an internal affair. Well, guys, we back today again with the reaction from Tariq Nasheed talking about immigration. This here is going to be a very touchy and sensitive topic. Get your popcorn and let's have a conversation about it. I'm going to call your attention to the screen, guys. Let's go.
And the Chicago family, too, and some of these other cities. Right now, you know, there's this, there's a flood of immigrants being allowed into the United States. The key word is allowed. They're being allowed and brought here. They're making it seem like they're slipping through the cracks. No, you have all of these people who are deliberately being allowed here, ladies and gentlemen. And the purpose of them being allowed here is to really displace and undermine us. And this thing takes its toll on us in so many different ways. We see what's happening in Chicago. We see down in Texas, places like that, where they're getting over the border and some of the right-wing officials there are shipping these migrants out to so-called democratic cities and states or whatever. But all of these people, they're kind of in on the whole thing. They're all in on it. So let's put everything in context, first of all. Why we're seeing such an influx of these immigrants being allowed to flood the zone right now. And there's images and pictures of just large caravans of people coming across the border, coming over here. All right. Let me play a clip from Dr. Claud Anderson. This was, I think, probably a couple of decades ago. Dr. Claud Anderson spoke in this clip. And this clip has been circulating around because Dr. Claud Anderson has been telling the truth and speaking truth to power about this immigration situation. So let's first put this thing in the right context. All right. Let me expand this real quick. Now, listen to this. This is our brother, Dr. Claud Anderson, talking about the purpose of this immigration wave. And this was decades ago when he said this. Hold on.
You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there's going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites are going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance program, which means that groups are coming in based on skin color. They're going from the lightest down to the darkest. Light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk will not be able to penetrate through those groups to get to the white society when that happens, because those groups owe us nothing. They don't understand our problems and they're competitive with us, and we don't begin to be a little more aggressive about being in a competitive posture to eat our lunches.
There you go. Man, Dr. Claud Anderson said it best right here. He spoke truth to power.
Family, did you hear the elder talk to you? Tariq done talk to you. And we have some more clips coming up, so just stay tuned. But let me just chime in for 1 second. Now, whenever that you talk about immigration, people get butt hurt, they get their panties up in a bunch or what have you, and that's fine, but that does not negate the truth. The truth of the matter is these people need to fix their own homeland. I said what I said. They need to fix their own homeland. We over here fighting for our little bit of crumbs and rights that we have. Now, family, with the civil rights movement bills that passed in the 60s, these people will come over here, get funded, get allocated resources, get housing, get all kind of programs. And then they'll turn around and tell you, y'all black Americans are lazy. Y'all are lazy. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. If that don't get you upset, nothing else would. After your people have fought, bled, have did everything within their power to help out other folks, including themselves, but other folks as well, they'll come over here and tell you, my family came over here with $3 and now we're making it. These disrespectful, honorary tethers, they all tethers, every last one of them. Fix your homeland. Let me just make this distinction right quick. The difference between black Americans that came from slavery, from the blood, from the soil of this country, they built different than the rest of the world. And that's just what it is. Nobody else is fighting white supremacy. Who? Not in Africa. They ain't fighting no white supremacy. Not in the Caribbean. They're not fighting white supremacy. Not in Mexico. They're not fighting white supremacy. They want to be a part of it. Not in South America. They're not fighting no white supremacy. Nowhere. No immigrants. Nowhere is fighting white supremacy. The only group, listen to me, the only group that's on a constant tear to fight white supremacy is the FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans, the people that came from the slaves. Everybody else is in agreement. They succumb to it. That's why they come over here to get up under us, because we the only one that fight, and then they benefit from us fighting. If you notice, every time we get something, they always have to attach black and brown. You see? Black and trans, black and LGBT, black and Hispanic. We been helping out every other group on the planet. You can go comb through the catacombs of history and it will bear out exactly what I'm saying. But whenever you take the inverse and you look at, okay, what have Mexico or South America or people in Central America or from the diasporas, what have they did to benefit black people here in America? I'm not talking about anchor babies. I'm not talking about them. What have everybody else did for us is the question. And Dr. Claud Anderson have been on a study campaign of warning black people here for many decades. This guy sat under, I think, President Reagan administration. He was a part of Reagan administration. So he's not no fool. He's not some Johnny come lately now. This is a learned elder. And this guy went around the churches and anybody that would listen, he was trying to spread the message. But black people are asleep as a whole. And when I say black, I'm talking about people here in America. They're asleep as a whole. But they are a remnants that see the light. People act like you're asking for something that's out of the ordinary. But everybody else is getting tangible. So while you marching around voting, I don't care anything about vote. Well, vote or die. All that old crazy stuff. See, voting is the last step. There's so many steps prior to voting. See, black people as a whole is politically illiterate.
It's buffers. They're being used as buffers against us. Okay? They're buffers.
Yes.
Their purpose is to compete and basically undermine our progress. See, the way the racial hierarchy is that we, black people, are always supposed to be at the bottom. The white supremacists at the top, and all of these other groups are in the middle, and they have no problem playing second fiddle. They have no problem being in the middle because they've been at the bottom in their homelands. They have no problem. Being in the middle is a come up to them here. Okay? Being in the middle, that's good enough. That's a come up. You dig? So they're not going to have any type of camaraderie with us. When they get here, see, the Democrats and people like that, they portray this image that they are fellow minorities and that we're going to have some kind of inherent camaraderie with them. And that's not true. They're coming in to specifically compete against us, not with the dominant white society, but to compete against us. That's why when these people get a stronghold here, when they get stable here, where does their vitriol go? Their vitriol is towards us, foundational Black Americans. We see how they act in these clubhouse rooms and Twitter spaces. We see how they talk about us. They don't talk about white mommy, white daddy. Their vitriolic hatred and contempt is for us, you see? And we're sitting around here on some kumbaya minority coalition, not even being competitive with these folks. See, that's why the foundational Black American movement is taking such root right now, because now we get it. Our brother Claud Anderson has been trying to tell us for decades. I've been helping to push that brother's message. Now we're starting to get it.
Let me just chime in for 1 second. He made a very good point, and y'all need to think about this. Look at where their hate and their contempt is directed towards. You never hear them talk about white supremacy. You never hear them even address it. It's always these black lazy people. If you notice that, y'all lazy. Y'all squander opportunities. Who are you talking about? If that is the case, well, why are black people in America the richest black people on earth if we squander opportunities? So, see, guys, and I've been saying this, and I'm going to keep repeating it like a broken record. I'm going to parrot this until the day I'm gone. These people always want to look to the bottom, the dregs of society when it comes to black people. They never want to look at the middle class. They never want to look at the upper middle class and higher. They always want to talk about the dregs of society. Yes, we have our problems just like you do. we gonna start looking at your bottoms too then and start comparing you to the bottom. See, but whenever they on TV or whatever, what do you see? You always see the best of their best. But since they own the medias, what do we see? We always see the Cardi B's, the 21 Savage, the Kodak Blacks, which they are immigrants anyway. All of them are immigrants. You always see these degenerates plastered all across your television all the time. See, but we too smart for that. Now, you got these old niggas that don't understand what's going on. Just get out there and vote because your granddaddy shut up. If voting was the answer, you would be father. Did you know back in the day that voting didn't help you? There was something else going on. Brothers and sisters was putting in work. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
That this is a competitive relationship. We can't sit here talking about a non-existent minority coalition when people are coming over to undermine us, to work against us. That's the reality. See, we, as foundational Black Americans, we have to get more on code with each other so that we can be competitive, so that we can allocate the resources that we're supposed to get, accumulate the resources that we're supposed to get, and protect ourselves economically. You see?
That's right.
Now, in New York, and now we're seeing the toll of resettlement, because in Chicago, the brothers and sisters in Chicago are complaining because they're being displaced with these illegal immigrants coming over here, flooding Black neighborhoods, using community centers where the Black kids are basically thrown out to house these people. Now, the same thing is going on up in New York. Let me play this news story. This is happening in New York right now. All right. Where am I? All right. Let me play this news story coming out of New York. And this is what's going on in Brooklyn. Your boy, Eric Adams, basically had to displace the high school students there temporarily so they could house these migrants coming in. They're staying in the school gym. Hold on.
In New York City, and now joining me here live on Live Now from Fox in New York is Fox News' Nate Boyd with the latest here on this big talker.
Yeah, a lot of parents are really upset with what's happening with their children, and specifically coming off the COVID learning experience. And we've seen the negative effects with the test scores, and a lot of parents are concerned that their children are being left behind. But I'll start with the newest information, and that is that students will be back in person in school at James Madison High School in Brooklyn tomorrow, but that's not the case today. They're learning remotely, although a lot of parents say that they believe their kids are just on TikTok. A lot of parents have said that teachers aren't even showing up for these online classes. So they say that remote learning is just a euphemism for no learning at all. And you mentioned this is all happening because the city is out of space to put illegal migrants who crossed our southern border. Take a look at this video. Nearly 2,000 of them were staying at a nearby tent facility, but they had to be moved because of strong winds and rain that brought some security risk at that tent facility. So they moved in last night. The school notified the parents of the 3,600 students that go to James Madison High School here in Brooklyn. Take a look at this statement from the city. They wrote, quote, "The health and safety of migrants in our care is always a top priority, which is why we are currently overseeing the relocation of 1,900 guests from the Humanitarian Emergency Response and Relief Center."
Guest? Wow.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Guest? Okay.
At Floyd Bennett Field.
Okay, so you guys get the picture. So yeah, they're the top priority. Okay? They are the top priority, not your children. Where are my New Yorkers? Now in New York,
do you believe that these people just wandering over here? These people are incentivized to come here. The government is not trying to stop these people. You think these people just walking across the border? They caravans, they hundreds and thousands of them coming over here at one time. And they just slipping through the cracks, huh? These people are allowed to come over here for cheap labor and everything. Let me give you this nugget. I come from a small town, right? There was one farm out there in particular that would remain nameless. This guy had a huge farm. And at first, high school kids and the local people used to help him farm and do all that out there. And then it changed by the mid-90s. By the mid-90s, he started getting a lot of Mexicans and immigrants to come over here and work. And they were illegal. And everybody knew it. It was the open secret. But nobody did anything. And he's not the only one. And he was threatening them because I have heard him talk about it. And if any women got pregnant without his permission, they would be sent back. If you do anything that he don't like, he would send you back. So they was on their P's and Q's. They looked at that man like Jesus Christ himself. I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all the truth. And everybody that watched this and the people that know me know exactly who I'm talking about. The farm, okay? Peaches, okay? All right? You know. But do you think that these people just coming over here and they just so cunning and they just slipping through the cracks? They giving them money. They giving them housing. They kicking black children out of schools and all this stuff to house these people. Kids coming home and the parents are at work. Do you know how inconvenient that is for the parents? But they don't care about that because they have an agenda. There is an agenda that's at play and we seeing it firsthand.
The children in New York, they basically get kicked out of school.
Yes.
In New York, the children who are citizens, they get kicked out of school because of these illegal immigrants coming over and having to be housed in the gym. So you can't send your kids to school. You know how much of an inconvenience that is?
Yes.
Your kid now has to stay home. Just imagine if you're a parent. You can't afford to take off work.
Right.
If you can't afford to take off work, do you understand how inconvenient that is? You understand when your kid is at home, somebody has to be home with that kid. And usually if you're a working class family, you don't have time to take off your job and miss out on money and paying your bills so that you can stay home because your kid can't go to school and you don't have anybody to watch your kid because people choose to hop over here and not take care of their homeland.
Facts.
So we got to foot the bill and we have to be inconvenienced because of other people not having it together in their home. We shouldn't be obligated to bear the brunt of that. That ain't cool at all. That's not cool. No, that ain't cool. How about y'all just stay back home and just make it pop back home? We don't want to be inconvenienced. So you see, this is taking a toll on people. This takes a heavy toll on people. It takes a toll on your resources. The zone is flooded. You got these people coming into the schools and they're staying in the gyms and staying in these neighborhoods. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they did back home. Remember, they're not vetting these people. They're not really vetting people like that. A lot of these people are coming across the border with janky backgrounds back home. That the family, we've seen stories of what these folks are doing when they get here. Up in Ohio, one of these illegal immigrants sexually assaulted a woman just like a couple of weeks ago. These people are doing all types of weird stuff when they get here. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their background is and what they're escaping from.
Let me drop this quick jewel on you. Typical America. Just think about this. England sent over the criminals to America. Remember that? Do anybody know about history? The criminal class was sent to America. Now these people here coming up through the border. These people here coming up with no background checks, no anything. Getting funded just like the people of old. Just like the people that came from England. Same thing. You see the parallel?
You see? And the thing is, people come over here, we have to be inconvenienced whether we like it or not. Our resources has to be drained. And in a couple of years, these same people will be telling foundational Black Americans, why don't you niggas pull yourself up by your bootstraps? I came here with $2. They come over here trying to tell us what we need to damn do after we've been inconvenienced by them coming here, getting stabilized. Yeah, they empty the jails in those countries. Understand this. Remember the movie Scarface was about that, about the Mariel boat lift where Castro was kind of sticking it to the U.S. He emptied the jail and the insane asylums and then started putting a bunch of these people on boats to flood Miami. Remember? And in Miami, remember in the 80s, it was insane. You know, the cocaine cowboys, go look at that movie. They were wreaking havoc in Miami. These immigrants. You see? So these folks come over, they get job training, they get all the resources that are supposed to go to us. When we're up here talking about reparations and they're sitting here talking about what they can't do, they're doing everything we're asking for these illegal immigrants. And that's for the purpose of them being buffer classes against us.
See, guys, don't never let nobody tell you that they pull themselves up by no bootstraps. None of them do it. Even the dominant society don't do it. They always have some type of program, but they call it welfare whenever it comes to us. But they got a welfare system for everybody else except you. Trust me when I tell you this. I even seen somewhere, I believe it was out in California or somewhere, where they was making illegal immigrants police. I have seen that. I have heard stories in California to where cops can't even charge illegal immigrants with driving because they say it would inconvenience them. If I'm lying, Google it. Google it exactly what I just said. So these people don't build anything or pull themselves up. These people don't do that. The only group that does that is us. Everybody else have to have slaves and everybody else have to eat off the back of somebody else. Let me get deeper. Let me talk to your soul for a second. Let me touch your spirit. The inventions of the modern times. If you know anything about history, the inventions came through a certain group of people. Most of them, probably 90% of them. Everybody else took the inventions and built off of that. You understand? But who laid the foundation for mostly everything? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Guys, it pains me to sit here and talk about stuff like this because you can clearly see these people ain't building anything. They ain't built nothing. They running, they fleeing. They don't build, they flee as quick as Mercury. Don't make no sense. And then come over here and insult you like they did so much. And they the cowards. They cowards. You need to go home and fix your homeland. I said it right here from this microphone. Go home. First thing a person have to do is take care of home first. Then after the person take care of home, then they can venture out and help other folks. The Bible said like this, guys, love your neighbor like you love yourself, right? So in order to love my neighbor correctly, I have to love myself first. So don't come with, well, they just need help. Well, I have to help myself before I can help you. If we are on an airplane, hear me, and the plane start descending and the cabin pressure drop and the mask come down, I can't save you before I save myself. I need to put on my mask first. And then when I get my mask situated, then I can come over here and help you put on yours. Family, just don't be fooled by the trickery and the language and all this. These people can't do nothing on their own. They need a welfare system, just like the dominant society. They can't do nothing on their own. They need a welfare system. It's government funded. Even Elon Musk. How do you think his SpaceX program get off the ground? Taxpayer dollars. How do you think Facebook got off the ground? Taxpayer dollars. See, y'all don't understand. And then they'll turn around and tell you, y'all begging. If you don't know anything about business and how the world works, you will look like a fool amongst the people that's learned, like myself. Remember when them car companies need money and they call it a bailout? That's welfare. You understand it? That's welfare. That's money that's not earned. You didn't earn that. And they took the money and they were splurging on prostitutes and doing all this stuff, buying dope and all this stuff. That's welfare. See, you don't understand how business work. These companies be funded and you don't even know it. But you have to try to get it out the mud, have to try to keep it afloat while other people getting benefits. So with that being said, guys, I'm out of here. And until next time, peace. And remember, there is more.